2, 3. What is up, Watch fam? I am Christian from Theo and Harris. I'm a little bit late to do. I'm a little bit late for today's YouTube live, but I'm here. I'm wearing a blue Oxford shirt and a day date. I'm wearing a Rolex reference 1803, dated to 1970, showing Instagram first. Day date. And it's absolutely gorgeous. One of the first topics I want to talk about today is this dial on this watch. It is a Roman dial, right, which is probably a more formal kind of title, but colloquially it's referred to as the Buckley dial. Now, a great question is, why is it called Buckley? What is a Buckley, and things like that. So I'm going to explain to you why this gorgeous date 1803 is called a Buckley. So there is a famous watch dealer on 47th Street. He does wholesale strictly, so you don't really buy from him. Dealers buy from him in large mass, big orders. His name is John Buckley. John is a great friend of mine, and he named he named Roman dials after himself, which is a hysterically egotistic thing to do. It started off as a joke completely. He never thought it would catch on, but I see now, these watches are referred to as Buckley dials basically everywhere, all over the web, and all over really everywhere. But no one really knows why they're called that. So Buckley dials are Roman dials. That's it. They're yellow, there's white, there's blue, there's brown, there's gray. I'm sure there are a couple other colors, but I think it's important for all of my watch geeks on the Theo and Harris fam to not only appreciate Buckley dials if they in fact like the aesthetic, but to know where they came from and what they are. So that's it. Let's take some questions now, and let's get into today's Ask T&H Live. Let's do it. All right, Instagram is asking a question. Do a vintage Datejust guide. That's a great idea. There are several reference vintage Datejust. There is 1601, 1600, 1603. The difference there is strictly bezel material and style. 1603 is an engine turn bezel. 1601 is a white gold bezel, and 1600 is either, it's a smooth bezel, sometimes yellow, sometimes steel, but it's a smooth bezel. Those are probably the rarest and sometimes desirable. In my opinion, they're ultra desirable, and in others' opinion, they're just not that attractive. So it's very difficult. John from N Grain asks, who goes to Korean barbecue and orders steamed short ribs? Me. BM Baller asks, best direction in which to go when buying a first luxury vintage watch. Great question, and I'll always answer kind of the same way. You know what you want, and if you know what you want, you sort of understand it, and then you can buy something intelligently. But if you don't know what you want, then you end up spending far too much money, because vintage watches are certainly not cheap on something that you don't want. So then the follow-up question would be, how do you know what you want? And you know what you want by experimenting, by reading, by buying, by seeing, by holding. That is how you really understand what you want. There are plenty of people out there that know what millimeter size works for them. They don't need to try on a watch. They know that 36 millimeters fits really well on my wrist, especially if the lugs are larger. But if you're not that kind of person, if you really have no idea, then I think that it's extremely important that you not only read and understand and talk to dealers and talk to other consumers, but to try something on. It takes it a huge level. I think that obviously that's the biggest fault of e-commerce, but still, if you can understand that and not buy, and then you are ready, you are set up to buy in the future. If you try on a Datejust that's way overpriced, it's still a Datejust. And now in 3 months, when I have enough money to buy a Datejust from Theo and Harris, I know 36 millimeters fits wonderfully on me. I don't need to, ask Christian or ask myself, hey, is this going to fit well? Unnecessary. So if you understand how a 36 millimeter Datejust feels, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. It's really an asset in buying, because if you delay, if you don't buy because you don't know, you miss out. The odds are that if you skip on a vintage Datejust from our company, you're not going to get it. It's gone. And I think that sizing is a ridiculous thing to lose out on that on. So Four questions. What's your favorite type of alcoholic drink? I like whiskey a lot. What do you think about Rolex Deep Sea? It's a big, but it's balanced well done. Yeah, I mean, the Rolex Deep Sea was a disaster. I mean, they released it in black, and it didn't do well at all. Really well at all. Function wise, size wise, nobody really wanted it, and they released it in blue, and it did shockingly well, and that's awesome. Big respect to them. If I were them, yeah, I'd probably get rid of the black. But truthfully, I mean, design-wise, it's just a Submariner with a bigger case and more, depth capability. So let's get real. Like it's not like, oh my God, they made this new design and it's so well balanced. It's the same design as every sub in GMT. So that's it. What's your favorite type of dog? My dog is a Havanese. How do you feel about vintage Seamaster Cosmic? Okay, so I Heart NOLA wants to know how I feel about the vintage Seamaster by Omega called the Cosmic. And those are great watches. The biggest concern, which people do not realize at all, is service costs, very seriously. On the vintage Omega Cosmics, they're single part cases. So to take the movement out and to service them, you have to go through the glass and the dial, which is a very difficult process. And difficult, fine, but at the end of the day, it's more expensive. So a service that would cost you maybe $400 or $350 could cost you $5. No question. Watchmakers, will look for any excuse to whack you guys out. Of course, if you're going to go through the Theo and Harris a service center, will there be a premium for the Cosmic? For sure, yes, but still it won't be nearly as high. Still, there's going to be a premium. It takes more work. Yeah, it's harder to break them apart. So more questions here. I have a Havanese too. Super cute. What's your favorite color? Green. Do you go to Red Bar? You drink from I do not go to Red Bar. Red Bar is a great organization in Manhattan. I just don't go. It's just not my, not my thing. Please check your email. Watches. Jeffrey, yes, I will check my email. If you sent me an email with watches, I will check it out. Thoughts on the Tudor Ranger? This is a very important topic that I need to talk about in front of all of you. If you want a Tudor Ranger, be very careful. This is one of the most copied watches on the market of all time, no question. These are redials, these are Franken movements, these are Franken cases. The Ranger is one of the most valuable vintage Tudors, and because of that, the makers or the copyright, not the copywriters, what do they call it? The counterfeiters understand the great potential in making counterfeit examples. So they know, okay, if I put the time into making this wonderfully, I'll make a ton of money. It'll cost me $1,000, I'll sell it for $6 or $5 or $4. They make a bank. So especially on eBay. So be very, very careful with Tudor Rangers. They're very, very dangerous watches. Do your due diligence and buy through a dealer that knows what they're talking about. I love you, Christian. I love you, Alex Peak. You're a wonderful guy. Thoughts on rubber straps, my Royal Oak 15400. If you saw it, I have not seen your Royal Oak 15400, but I'd have to see the strap on it. I don't know how it would look. I have no idea. Let's see what other questions are coming in. Do you have a 36 millimeter date just in your inventory? Yes, I do. I have two beautiful 36 millimeter date just in my inventory. The first has an alpha handset and a matching dial. Very, very beautiful. Alpha hands are not stick hands. They're not regular kind of like pointed bricks like these. They are kind of like elongated and cut and very pointed at the end. They're very beautiful. I also have a wide boy dial. So basically, I have two Rolex reference 1601s in the inventory at theoneharris.com. Not on the shop, but in my company in the safe. And they're both very rare examples. And if you want them, you shoot me a message. I'll hook you up. So thoughts on the Tudor Black Bay Bronze? Great question. I was asked about that today from a client of mine who's considering buying the Panerai Bronzo in either green dial or blue dial, the Black Bay Bronze or Zenith bronze case. And I recommend the Black Bay Bronze, because I think that it achieves the same kind of itch, it scratches the same itch for a much lower price. I don't know what the Tudors are trading for right now, but I know they're not as high as the Zenith, or they are not as high as, they're not as high as, the Bronzos, for sure. So if you're just buying a watch because it has a bronze case, buy a fucking Oris. No question. If you like it for a different reason, that's different. But if you're just looking for a bronze case, go with the most well built and inexpensive example. No question. Can you recommend someone who never had a Datejust? Not sure what your question is, buddy. Sorry. Know anything about the Rolex Oyster Royal line? No, I know a lot about the Tudor Royal lines, but not about the Oyster, about the Rolex. Sorry. I know you don't like the Black Bay 36, but generally companies willing to drive small faces. Why dig on? Okay, so basically the question is, why do I give hate to the Black Bay 36? Great question. I love the Black Bay 36. I think the case is great. I think the bezel is great. I think the dial is great, and I think the hands are wonderful. But to me, there are two fundamental problems. One, the fact that they're calling it a Black Bay is ridiculous. The Black Bay is an extension of the Snowflake or the Tudor sub, and to call a Datejust equivalent like the Black Bay 36 a Black Bay is absurd. The Datejust has nothing to do with the Submariner. The Datejust and the Submariner, or the Datejust and the Explorer, are very, very different watches. And to me, to make them one and the same is absurd. It doesn't make any sense. So no, I am not a fan of the Black Bay 36 for those reasons. Still, objectively, from a third-party point of view, not from someone who is a watch geek, I think the Black Bay 36 is a wonderful buy. I think it's very pretty. That's great. I would buy it. But from a watch geek point of view, I think that the combination of elements from different genres don't make sense. That Buckley gold date is sex. Yeah, I'm going to show you guys some more photos. Who wants to see more Buckley photos? Ready? Rolex Buckley dial, very, very pretty. Date matching. I mean, it's just all very beautiful. Instagram can see it. It dates to 1970. I have it on a black crocodile strap, and I mean, it's just totally beautiful. I got this in and sold it immediately. It literally sold. It sold in 3 hours. So that was very sad for me because I don't get to wear it forever. So it's got to get shipped out tomorrow. Not tomorrow, but soon. I mean, look the way it looks on my wrist. I mean, look at that. Look at my pocket. I mean, it just looks so good, That's what, look at that. I can't get over how just beautiful that thing looks. So it's so much what I appreciate vintage watches. The aesthetics, the design, and how they look and how they feel. And someone just asked me if my watchmaker can service a Speedmaster Reduced, an automatic version of the Speedmaster. It's a larger, thicker version. It's a great watch, great value. The answer is yes. Our watchmaker can absolutely service a Speedy Reduced. So if you have any questions, shoot us an email at info@theohandharris.com, and we will hook you up with a killer service. Bamford Watch Department, oversized garbage, is a question I was just asked. Now, I mean, yeah, 100%, but to my understanding, they're not having a hard time selling watches, so respect, like major respect. Would I buy one? No. I mean, depending on how much money I had, maybe I would buy something that I liked. But at the end of the day, they're so expensive and they're so ugly. Some of them are just so fucking ugly. So no, I wouldn't buy one. Sopranos or Breaking Bad? Sopranos. I never watched Breaking Bad, so I'm not really kind of person to judge. What is your thought on the Rolex linen dial? Which one is best? Rolex only made linen dial on the Datejust and the date, so they're both great. I'm not going to pick a favorite. Keep up the good work. You are only going to become better. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Roofty. We are getting better and better every week and every month. There's no question. We're doing our best. So thank you very much. Would you buy a Nomos, any model besides the HH? Not sure what that means. Over a PUG pole router? Great question. Nomos versus Universal Geneve pole router. It depends what your values are. If you're looking for a watch with a terrific movement, just a terrific movement, and a reasonable size, and that's it, and you have a budget, I'd go with the pole router. I think it packs more punch as far as interest, as far as historical relevance. It was designed by Gerald Genta. I think the design is uniquely pole router, no doubt. But still, I love Nomos. I'm an enormous Nomos fan. So I would never tell you to back away from Nomos, because I think that they make wonderful, wonderful watches that are in a great style. So, either, but it depends on your priorities. I would go with the Universal Geneve, I think, but I'm not sure. Uh, Great wine pouring in the last liquor run. Thank you so much, man. I loved it. I loved it. Where's Rolly? Rolly's home. Do you ever wear your watches with bracelets or only straps? This watch I wore on the original presidential bracelet for a day. I loved it. I love gold presidential bracelets. They look beautiful, in my opinion. But this watch, right now I'm having it on a strap, and that's it. I think the presidential bracelet is very blingy, and although I love it, I didn't really want to walk in Manhattan with it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little bit paranoid, possibly. Having some exciting news, man. Ring me tomorrow. Sounds good, man. I will ring you tomorrow. Date 38 or 40. When are you getting one? I would get a 36 date 36 millimeters. Reference 1803. My favorite date reference. I would buy a later model with a quick set function if it was the right price and the right dial, for sure. But I won't get a date for myself until I get married, and it's a promise I made to myself, which is ridiculous. What do you do for fun when not doing watch stuff? I cook, I drink, and I eat. Those are the things I do for fun. That's it. I like to cook pasta and Italian food. I like to drink, humble wine, and I like to eat the food that I just cooked. My passions. Could Teenage brand expand other items, shoes, etc.? Liquor Run makes you think it's one. No. Teenage can never be a shoe company. But Teenage will absolutely expand into advertising for shoe companies. I think that what Teenage stands for more than watches is value. 100%. The Teenage clientele understands that when they hear me speak and they know, sorry guys, when they know my opinion, they know that I'm bringing value to them. I'm introducing them to products that represent a larger return on their investment. A watch that's $1,000 that packs as much punch as a watch that's $1,400. So I would do the same thing with shoes and glasses and clothes, etc. That's not tomorrow. That's not today. That's not next week. But who knows? I think that advertising is definitely a potential for Theo Harris in the future. Key things to look out for when buying a vintage Seamaster. Be very, very careful. There are so many fake vintage Seamasters in the market. I would be very careful if I were you. You need serial number reference, and serial numbers can be faked, and they can be brushed and reprinted. It's very, very difficult. Hungarian wine on Liquor Run. I don't know. I don't know any Hungarian wine. I have to check it out. Christian, Andres from Puerto Rico. I need to contact you for Rolex. I'm gonna work. I contact you after 9 p.m. Yes, Andres, please. Shoot me an email and we will connect tonight at 9 p.m. Tonight. Right now it's 8:24, but absolutely, I'm willing to connect tonight. I'm so sorry again for missing your call the other day. Thoughts on the Omega F300? Do you have any in your inventory? Yes, I have one in my inventory. They are wonderful watches. I have two in my inventory. I'm sorry. They are wonderful watches. I'm an enormous fan. You have to just be careful. You cannot set the date between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. And as long as you abide by that and you don't break their day wheel, you'll be fine. Wonderful watches. Ugh. What cars do I admire? Porsche. I admire Porsche a lot. I love Porsche. I think that what they do is was so interesting, because if you look back to 1965 and 2016, the cars look the same. Dude, I'm tired. No, I'm not tired. I'm a little bit drunk, but I will get better. No, I'm not bored. That's for sure. John Russo strap on the Day-Date. No, this is not a John Russo strap. This is a strap I bought that came with the Day-Date. So it's a presidential bracelet and a Day-Date. Really beautiful. What to look out for when buying a vintage Omega Seamaster? Once again, I answered this question. It's all about originality and condition. Those are the two main things you have to look out for. Do you like cigars with wine? I like cigars with whiskey, not wine. What cars are you? 1016, too inflated to buy right now. Yes, those vintage Explorers are very inflated. But the truth is, are they going to come down? I don't see them dropping anytime soon. So I don't know. I mean, this could be a low for them. In reality, this could be a low that they never really hit again. Vintage Explorers right now are expensive. They're a lot more money than they used to be. But ultimately, who knows? It could be a value prop right now. Let's see what other question. What kind of hair gel do you use? I use Frizzies. It's a hairspray for women, I think, that I put in my hair. I just spray it real quick after I put it in the water, and I go. If you have $10,000 for a first dress watch, what would you get? I could probably issue a Le Ultra, either a Master Control or a Reverso, no doubt. Are you going to Basil World? No, I'm not going to Basil World. No question at all. I have no interest in going to Basil World. Do your straps come in steel and gold buckles? No, we just do steel typically, but we're more than happy to source you a gold buckle for sure. Thoughts on Richard Mille? I have no thoughts on Richard Mille. Can we stick to watch questions, please? No, I'm going to stick to the questions that people ask. But I respect your your opinion. What else we got here? I tried Cheap NATO a long time in shipping, but if you can wait and they're a solid product with great customer service. Yeah, Cheap NATO does a really good job. Cheap NATO straps are cheap, and they feel cheap, and they are cheap. But for $15, they actually feel a lot more than $15. They feel like they bring a lot of punch. Oh, sorry guys. They bring a lot of punch, and it's hugely important. The cheapest NATO straps at $15 may wear like they're worth 40, and that's huge. Patek Calatrava or Journe Chronometra Blue. Journe Chronometra Blue. No question. They're better watches. So I have huge respect for them. They're tantalum case, they're rose gold movement. Everything really. I love that I love that it's manual wind. These are beautiful watches. That watch is decorated, the Chronometra Blue, basically unlike any other watch. It's decorated wonderfully. It's Squiddy. What do we got here? Why are two-tone Rolexes not popular? They are. They're more popular than you would think. Two-tone Rolexes went through a phase where they were not popular at all, but I think that they're back. I think that two-tone Rolexes, especially Datejust, are popular again, and they're getting the recognition they deserve, and that's very important to me. I think that they deserve to be looked at as very valuable, beautiful pieces, especially when in great condition. They're not douchey, they're not ugly, they're just classy pieces, and I respect that a whole lot. Do you think Datejust will keep raising in price? And this is one of the last questions I'm going to answer. Yes, I do. I think that if modern Datejusts are at 7,000 and pre-owned they're at 5.5, I think that vintage Datejust can meet that. It's going to take a lot of work on the market's end. Oh fuck! But I have no doubt that the vintage Datejust can absolutely meet that number, because they are better. But by better, I don't mean just like they're better in my opinion. I think that they are smaller, they are more tasteful, they are more versatile for more people, and I think that. In historical respect, they have a greater narrative to tell. So I think that people who sell vintage Datejust will be able to continue raising the prices, not necessarily making more money. Their cost will get higher, proportionally, but the prices will go up. Did I go to college? Yes, I went to college for sure. I went to college, Seton Hall. Oh boy! Any thoughts on the Thunderbird vintage Rolex Oyster? By the way, guys, just to explain why I'm yawning so much, I met a client who just bought a vintage Zodiac Seawolf in Manhattan today. Wonderful guy, really just crazy cool guy. Met for drinks. I had two like double pours of rye, and it was delicious. But I took a train ride home after that, and I'm actually on the train ride when you're not drinking, you get very yawny and very tired. I'm still cooking dinner after this, so I'm not going to sleep. That's for sure. But that rye, it's funny. I think that it's almost embarrassing that I'm yawning so much. But on a level, it's very truthful, because that, although very annoying, is kind of what a lot of my life is. It's when a client in New York wants to meet for a drink and pick up their watch in person. I'm doing it. There's no question. I'm going to go into Manhattan. I'm going to, buy drinks, and I'm going to, have fun and have a drink. And yes, I may get home at 9 and be tired as shit, but it makes sense. Oh, look who's home. Look, Anna. Anna's here. Anna, say hi to the live stream people. Anna says hi to the watch fam. Smart response in the hater question. Your video, dig it. Thank you very much, man. I get a lot of hate. No question. We get a lot of hate. And it's ridiculous. I mean, half these people are illiterate practically, and half of them, that hate are very, very smart. And it's not hate though. It's just it's constructive. It's constructive criticism, and I have no question, no problem with that at all. I think that constructive criticism is beautiful. It's helped me evolve my company tremendously. I listen to it very much so. But to listen to straight out hate, you call me, I don't want to get into the words, but yeah, it's stupid. It's just like you're an imbecile. So that's how I feel, and I feel that if you are wasting your time, just being, basically, like I said, illiterate on YouTube, you have very little going on, and for that I do feel bad. Evening, Christian. What's up, Matt on the water? Anna's here. Yes, you remind me of John Mayer. Thank you. Fine enough. I think that John Mayer is a cool dude. Seems like it. So thank you. Is vintage Tudor overvalued? No. Vintage Tudor is extraordinarily undervalued. Undervalued, no question. Vintage Tudors that I have sold have doubled in price in the last year and a half, no question. And I think, and I have made no more money on that inflation. It's just how the market is. It's not like, oh, we're doubling the prices. We have nothing to do with it, basically. The consumer base is flipping the watches, and the wholesalers, they're charging more because they are worth more, and they're 100% right. Tudor watches are still very much so undervalued. So keep that in mind if you're considering buying a Tudor. Best value prop in Tudor subs, 36 millimeters. That's where the value is. Best watch under 500. I don't know. I think a Timex for $60 is great. I love how you and your dad and your grandpa are obviously so proud of you. Yeah, it's awesome. My dad's a wonderful guy. My grandpa's a wonderful guy. My mother, I'm fucking like ridiculously lucky to be a young member of a family that's very supportive, a family that's very caring, and that's it. I will never lie about that. It's a very big part of my life. It's why I am where I am today. Chanel in-house movement, cool. Yes, the movement, of course, itself is cool, but would I buy a watch? No. Come on, you see it. I don't know what that means. Opinion on alternative Jubilee. Someone just asked my opinion on aftermarket bracelets, particularly Jubilee. Great question. My answer is this: wear them. No question. Don't overspend for them. Know that when a seller is selling you a watch on an aftermarket Jubilee, you have leverage. You have very serious leverage, because a Jubilee bracelet is worth. Sorry, guys. A Jubilee bracelet is worth $400. Without question, by more in most instances. And if a seller is selling you a Datejust on a Jubilee for instance, an aftermarket Jubilee, you better bet that you better be getting that watch for under $400 under value, without question. I love Theo and Harris. Thank you, Prachi. Prachi is one of my best friends from, actually probably my best friend from high school. So Farley is, turn on the Christmas lights. No, Farley is. Who are Theo and Harris? They are nobody. They don't exist. Why you did not answer why you don't sell Cartier? You're 100% wrong, brother. I did answer. I answered in a very long message. I don't, and this is the last question I'm going to answer. I don't sell Cartier. First of all, I would sell Cartier. If someone wanted a Cartier, I would find one, no question. I would be very, very happy to find a beautiful vintage Cartier for somebody. The reason I don't sell Cartier is the following, very simple. I think I have great taste, but that taste is very specific, and it does not have mass market appeal, and most people don't like it, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. I respect that, but I'm not going to invest a lot of money in a brand that I don't think is going to return proportionate to my investment. And that's it. I love Cartier very, very much. But if it's not going to actually help my business, it's a bad investment, I'm not going to make it. End of story. Would TNH take angel investment? No. No, TNH wouldn't take it. TNH would sell TNH. At one point, not now, but in 3 or 4 years, God knows when. But TNH wouldn't take angel investment, no. What else we got here? That's it, guys. One more. Where do you normally buy your Oxford button-downs? I buy my Oxford button-downs from Brooks Brothers, J. Crew, and Uniqlo. That's it. 3 companies, very different in price. Uniqlo is like $30, J. Crew's like 60, and Brooks Brothers like 100. So I think that my collection of Oxford shirts goes from mostly Uniqlo, then J. Crew, then Brooks Brothers. But I have a lot of Oxford shirts. They are my favorite shirts. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching today's live episode of Ask T&H. I think we got into a lot of topics from Buckley dials to FP Journe, to a couple of some paddocks and things in between. Have a wonderful Thursday night. I hope to see you guys tomorrow on Liquor Run, and that's it. We're doing a wonderful Liquor Run tomorrow. Some really beautiful wine. But that's it, guys. I'm gonna go eat. Make some food. I'm making steak pizzaiola, a little Italian dish that my family makes, and that's it. Thank you guys so much once again for watching. Have a wonderful night, and I will speak to you soon.